wasting time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Walking with Franco. And we have a star in the making today. He is none other than the Globetrotter, the NWF World Champion, Ricky Henry.
How are you, Franco?
I am all good, Ricky. Thanks for coming out today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be out here with you. It's a nice day.
Hey, it is great to have you out here. I think we have touched lucky today because it has been raining on and off all week.
Yeah.
What's your first memories of wrestling?
Oh, my first memory of wrestling's always because of my age, it's always worrying to some people. So I didn't get into wrestling until about 2015, and it was when I was about 7 to 8, and I got into it. But I wasn't up to date on wrestling, and I never realized it that I was watching older wrestling in 2015, and I had to go, oh no, I'm outdated. I had to go forward. So my first memory actually ended up being in a 2010 wrestling segment. And it was because all my friends in school were big wrestling fans, and I'd always pretended to know what they're talking about, but I had no clue. So one day I sat and went, right, I'll go on YouTube and search WWE John Cena, because he was one of them was talking about. And I saw this thing, and it was John Cena and Randy Orton were hyping up a Hell in a Cell match. And the thing was, it was Randy Orton came down the scene after he got jumped by like Jericho or something. And he comes in the ring, he gets the cell lowered, like the Raw before Hell in a Cell. And then John Cena comes to life, beats him. Randy Orton scurries out of the cell, and the AA, John Cena gets on top of the cell and hits him in AA while they're on top of the cell. And I remember just going, whoa. I was like, whoa, that was cool. So ever since then, I was like, this is really cool. So I sat, I think, for months hyper fixated on wrestling, just watching everything I could find on YouTube and getting like really like trying to understand everything WWE. And then it came to a point where I knew more than the people who were originally talking about it to me from years before, because I was obsessed. And yeah, from then on, it's just been, stuck to me. But the funny thing is, so it's almost like I was destined to be obsessed with wrestling, because my middle name, funny enough, is James.
Yes.
So it's Ricky James Henry. But that's actually because my older brother was a massive wrestling fan as well. But his favorite wrestler when he was younger was Mickey James.
Right.
So my family were like, oh, for a laugh, we'll call him Rick.
Things to me. And then we had a couple of children. Sophie, who's older than Jacko, no interest in wrestling whatsoever.
Aye.
And then Jacko came along and he fell in love with wrestling. So then that was my way of opening the door again.
Yeah, reignited the spark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who was your favourite wrestlers back then, and why?
So here's the thing with me. I've grown up with every interest I ever had. I always had set favourites, and they never changed on anything. I was so obsessed with something, I would have a favourite and I wouldn't change it. But wrestling I always found so weird, because it felt like every couple of months I was changing my favourite, because it's like, oh my god, this person did something so cool, and it just made me really look at all their stuff. I was like, oh my god, this person's so cool. But like over time, like my first ever favourite wrestler was Rey Mysterio, which is like a bit of a stereotypical answer, like. But after that, I went straight to Kofi Kingston, which is a wee bit weirder, and then I bounced in between people. But I'd say all around, all time, my favorite wrestler ever had to have been CM Punk. Like,
yeah,
it was just unreal, just this, like, because it's just hearing stuff like he was never fully trained, and he ended up having to go to training, and like he lived straight edge, and he cut all these like amazing promos that when I'd watch wrestling, and obviously as a kid who was going into school, I was the one who was still obsessed with wrestling when most people kind of bought out of it and were like, this isn't interesting anymore.
Yep.
And every day I'm getting told, this is fake. But then you had the one person who would go out there and you're like, I don't know if this is fake. Like every week, you don't know what CM Punk's saying, if it's real or not. So as much as I respect the predetermined side of the sport, having someone who'd go out there and would make you feel like what they're saying is the truth and make you feel like what they're saying is real. And to this day, at the age of almost 18, I'm seeing CM Punk and I'm like, is this just him being honest right now, or is he going with a story? Like, that's why he always just caught my attention, just how like held himself and how like purveyed that like personality.
Yes. See, to me, the internet has ruined so much, especially when it comes to like wrestling. I mean, the whole world and his sister knew AJ Lee was coming back last week.
And that was heartbreaking.
You
That
know,
was so heartbreaking.
the Royal Rumble was always and still is my favorite event.
Yeah,
for the surprise comebacks.
exactly the same for me.
I remember, wasn't that long ago, we were in Florida and me and Jacko went to World's End, AEW.
Right.
It was in Florida
Oh, I remember
over
that one.
Christmas there. And Edge came back right at the end and his
Right,
music hit.
yes.
And I was like, and Jacko was like, it's Edge, it's Edge. I was like, what? And you weren't expecting it. It
Raw
was
surprise, yeah.
Yeah, and those are the things that I miss the most. Partially my own fault too, because I'm on reading all the websites and scrolling Facebook.
You end up having no choice, but you find out.
Yep.
I
Or something pops up on your feed,
I still remember the one of the few times that I was actually caught off guard by a surprise was the 2018 Royal Rumble and Rey Mysterio came back.
Yes.
And I remember watching the match, and every year I'd watch the Royal Rumble the next morning, getting ready for school. I'd find some site, because I never had the WWE Network, so I'd find some site that had the whole match, or like find a really dodgy YouTube video that had it.
Yes.
And I'd watch it. I remember I would always be like, I'd make a random prediction in the match, be like, this will be the number I want to win.
I remember, wasn't it? It doesn't feel like that long ago to me, but when AJ Styles made his debut in WWE at the Royal Rumble, and I remember me and Jack just looking at each other going, AJ Styles? And I remember him saying that he was afraid in case people didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Obviously, back in the day, you got TNA on Spike TV. Used to be on Virgin that we had at the time. And we were big fans of TNA. It had all the great, like Kurt Angle and Sting. I was also a great Sting fan. Jack used to love Kurt Angle,
Yeah. Makes sense.
But AJ Styles, he was one of the standouts on that show,
Oh yeah, because he was one of the originals. He was someone. He wasn't like Angle and Sting, who you'd seen before. He just came along, and you're like, yes, this guy.
Yeah, and you had Samoa Joe as well, who was another fantastic athlete.
Unbelievable.
So, why or how did you start training?
Well, it's a funny story of me starting training, and a certain entertainer, Chris Mercer's about to get shots fired at him here. So, I love Chris really, but he knows this story. So, it was my 14th birthday. 2 days after. Actually, it was the 29th of October, 2021. And me and my mates were like big wrestling fans, especially just after the pandemic. There was nothing else to watch. We were all watching wrestling. And we were all, like, a big thing for us was like, we'd love to go to a live wrestling show together. But this was the period of time where, like, WWE didn't peak in popularity yet. It wasn't like the Triple H era where everyone was getting excited again.
Yep.
So we didn't really get WWE events here. And even if we did, me and my other two 14-year-old mates are not affording WWE tickets, to be honest, and I would have felt bad even asking for parents.
Hey, I'm a wee bit older than 14 now, and I know I'm going to struggle to get a ticket for Monday Night Raw when it comes to the Odyssey.
Exactly. So we were like, we'd still wanted to see live wrestling. So I literally sat one day, I was like, right, I wonder if there's any like indie shows. So I went on Google and I was like, I think I just said Belfast pro wrestling or something. And the first thing that came up was a picture of who I now know is DD Crooks in the corner of the ring or something. And it was like NXG Wrestling, so that's what it was called at the time. So I went to the show and I remember going with the lowest expectation. Like, it's a Belfast indie show. You don't hear about the Belfast wrestling scene. This will probably be shocking. And I went and I was like, this is so cool. So I remember going over the ring and feeling it and stuff and being like, I'd bump on that. I'd bump on that. And I was like, right. So I went outside, but Chris Mercer at the time, he was the ring announcer, and he was always in a suit and stuff. And Nate Maddox's young lion was actually on the show, but he was the only one who didn't come out to the fans because he was helping take stuff down. So I went straight to Chris Mercer. I was like, he's in a suit. He speaks very professionally. He's probably the owner. So I go up to him and I'm like, here, excuse me. And I tell him the situation. I'm like, I'm 14. Am I able to start training here? Because I see like these have training. And he's like, you're 14. I was like, yeah. And he goes, you're not allowed. I was like, oh, seriously? He goes, yeah, wait till you're 16, buddy. I was like, right, okay. He goes, not long now. I was like, all right, okay. And me being stubborn as I was, about a couple of weeks later, I saw a post for the Mites, this like old school British wrestling tag team, and they were coming to do a seminar at NXG. And because I was like, I wonder because the seminar, if the rules will be different. So I was like, I text the account, and I still get made fun of for this. I started going, I love old school British wrestling. I could have only told you about in Regal. And I was like, I'd love to go to the seminar. I've never wrestled before. And Nathan was like, yeah, come on ahead. And he later told me, and he said yes because he wanted my money. So I go to this show. No, I go to the seminar, and I was like, this is unbelievable. And there were some people there, like Renzo Rose was actually at that seminar.
Yeah.
And he just came to Ireland, and he was the first person I ever saw to get front bump, and it was terrifying because my first experience of a front bump was Renzo Rose doing a front bump with his hands behind his back. Because Renzo was actually crazy when you see some of the. He's chilled out now, but he's nuts with some of the stuff. He takes a front bump, no protection on. I was like, oh god, but I still loved it, and ended up texting me like, here, do you think I could actually start training? And Nathan was like, yeah, come on ahead. And next thing you know, I've been here for 5 years. I'm the third longest lasting person there now. So, yeah.
See, you talk about front bump. I would take a front bump all day long before I take a back bump.
Oh, really?
But I obviously I've had a few issues with my back and stuff. But
right,
I will still take them if I have to. But given the choice, I'll take a front bump all day long.
That's the age kicking, is it?
Yeah, definitely. So, what were your first thoughts of your first training session then?
Well, my first training session, I stand by, it's probably one of the best training sessions I've ever had. And I don't know if Nathan was like, let's give this kid the best training session you ever had, so he'll keep coming back. But I went, and it was just after a show they did the same day as the seminar, and it was the Monday after. And I go, and loads of people there, and we're getting in, we did a warm up, we did like this cardio as well. I didn't expect to flatten me, but it flattened me on this first time, and I just done football and stuff. I was terrible at it, but I was always good cardio.
Yep.
This flattened me, and I was like, oh, reality check. So we're doing this. It's like a basic wrestling training session. Like we're doing the bumps, the rolls. And Nathan did something that he's never really had us do since. He was like, I'm going to play a random song, and I want to use all the... So our curtain was still set up from the show. He goes, stand backstage. I'll play a random song. I want you to make an entrance to how you think you should walk out to this song. I want you to be able to like have like character, like flexibility, basically. I was like, right, okay. So everyone got to make entrances to like songs and stuff. And I remember thinking like, whoa, I'm making an entrance right now. Like it's in front of just like people I'm training with. Like it's just really cool. Like 14-year-old me was losing his mind. And
yeah.
We did that, and then he got us a couple promos, and then he got us to and then he got me in the ring person. He just took me to the side, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to show you some stuff. And he showed me this really cool chain spot. I remember being just like, whoa, I felt like a wrestler. I was like, I've only trained one day, but I feel like I'm the best wrestler on the planet because I just did that chain spot. Little did I know, Nate Maddox is just an insane coach and had this random 14-year-old wrestling like it was nothing. But I still remember that training session like back of my hand, and it was unbelievable, like unbelievable.
That just got you hooked then.
Oh yeah, it genuinely, I've been obsessed ever since. Like I've done sports before, like I've done football, I've done jiu-jitsu, and although I'd go to them for like a year or two at the time and stuff, I never grew addicted to anything, and I always just kind of did stuff to kind of fit in and do things like because I felt lazy if I wasn't doing anything. And then I did wrestling. I was like, I don't feel obliged to go to this. Like I'm desperate to go.
Yeah.
So, and then again I became addicted. So, thanks. Can't wait till I'm 25 and can't walk. But it's great so far.
So, what was the hardest thing for you to learn?
There's so many weird things for me that were really hard to learn. Like, so one big one was shoulder rolls for the first couple months. Like, which was again just a small thing, but like I just never understood the footwork. And that was another big thing. Footwork was something I never got. And then there was also vaulting into the ring. Never got it. And it's funny enough, it was always the really agile things that I was like.
Is that the one through the middle rope or?
No, literally, like if you're just in the corner and you're like, put your chest in the buckle.
Yeah.
I could never do it for, I'd say, the first year and a half. Like a Banderas, I was terrified of. I actually got fluid in my elbow because me and Didi Crooks were in the ring and he did a Banderas and I lost grip with the rope and went out and basically back bumped on the concrete floor. And I was like, oh, I'm fine, it just hurt. And then an hour later into the session, someone goes, what's your elbow? And it was out like a bubble. And I was like, didn't know elbows could do that. But, so it was all like weird athletic things that were really scary to me. But, like, I would end up like getting through them and stuff. But footwork, intensity, and laying in strikes were a big thing that always like I struggled with. But when it comes to strike sex, there's only one fond memory I have, and it was actually my first ever time come to Titanic to train. And I wouldn't be surprised if, because I hear about the story every time I'm around the people involved. But Eddie Stone, we were doing a man in the middle strike drill. It was a Tucker session. We were doing a man in the middle strike drill. You choose a strike of your choice, and Eddie Stone was in the middle. I'd never met the guy in my life, and I was a 14-year-old skinny kid, and I was like, you know what? I'll just chop the guy. He can take it, and I'll see how it looks. I'd never done chop before. And like, I see how this goes. And he's in the middle, and he feeds to me. And I was so quiet the whole session. I was quitting, and I lay in this chop. And I mean, I've never hit a chop like it again. The thing just biggest whack.
Eddie Stone has the best chest for hitting strikes on.
The guy's a monster. Like, he's just, chest is huge.
Oh, I think it's hollow, and that's where the echo comes from. But
exactly.
There's no way better. I love hitting any lovely guy, but if I'm laying a strike in, a European uppercut or a forearm, there's no way. It makes you look even better than what you are.
You feel like a superstar.
Yeah.
And I hit him with it, and ever since then, every time he sees me, or anytime any of the standard teams go, mainly Blake loves to bring it up. Blake Richards, him, and Eddie Stone. Anytime they see me, they're like, "Oh, remember that chop you hit in that one class? Took liberties on me, kidding on it." And he's like, he keeps making the jokes. I mean, you haven't been in a match, but just you wait till we're in a match. I'll be chopping the chest off you like, and I'm like, oh. So now I'm dreading. I've just been trying to avoid the Eddie Stone match.
I'm gonna go back to the Banderas.
Yes.
And Banderas is something that Franco enjoys doing, and it's one of those things that I can do with ease. And there was a seminar with, I'm nearly sure it was Jack Selstrom.
Right, great wrestler.
And he was doing some out of the box things, and I was struggling. And then next it was like, right, we're going to Banderas. And HW Muscle was standing behind me. I turned around, I was like, finally something I can do. The biggest, I'm trying to think of the word here, mess up of a move you've ever seen in your life. I completely fluffed my lines. And I just turned around and I could see HW Muscle almost wetting himself. I was like, I can't believe I did that.
No. Oh, it's always the things you're super confident in.
Oh, I let myself down big time.
You go in and do it, and you just make a mess of it. It's a similar thing happened to me. We had Saxon Huxley over from Noah doing a seminar, and he was literally just doing a basic like agility drill that involved like, you know, springing into the ring, doing like a forward roll, and then like Banderasing yourself out.
Yep.
And so I'm like, this was a point where I got really confident with him, and I'm like, everyone's talking about how good I am with it, and I'm like, just you wait till I get in there. I'm gonna do this so good. I get in, I vault in, I do the roll, I go to Banderas out, and similar to you, I just landed nuts first on the top rope. I was like, oh, right in front of XWB current Noah wrestler. I just, done myself in on the top rope, and I'm like awkwardly stepping over. Like, the smallest guy here can't do the vault. Great.
So, you're still pretty young.
Yeah, enough.
And you're already a world champion. Did you expect to be a world champion at such a young age?
Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest, right? And I hate being one of those people, because I hate seeing those videos of anyone when they're like doing decent at a sport, and then someone's like, did you ever expect it? She's like, no, I never believed in myself. I hate being like that, but I'm going to be completely honest. I never thought I'd touch a championship.
Yeah.
I was so grateful just to be in a wrestling ring and like wrestling on a show, and like, because that was something I wanted to do.
Yep.
Like, I remember like with my friends, we'd be like, if we were like talking about wrestling, I was like, oh, when I'm a wrestler, like, you're saying when, but you might not ever follow through. And I'm like, no, trust me, I'll follow through. Then I was like, I might not follow through, but we'll see. And then when I ended up being on shows, I was like, this is great. I'm actually a wrestler now. I never thought of a title, and I wasn't even considered for one for the first year I was wrestling. I was like, no, I don't mind. Like, I don't really care about titles. I'm just happy to be wrestling right now. And then one day, Nate Maddox had us all sitting there in the middle of the ring, and he went for everyone. And I don't know if this is what influenced him, but I like to believe it is. And he'll probably tell me eventually, nah, it wasn't that mate. But, or he'll say it was because he wants to take the credit. But he set everyone down in the ring, and he's like, I want to know what your goals are for this year. It was 2023. He's like, I want to know what your goals are for this year in wrestling. What do you just want? And I'll do my best to get you it. Her phone was like, oh, I'd like to work bigger town. I'd like to work in ports. And he came to me and I was like, I want to win a championship. I want to fight for a championship at least, because I hadn't had a title match. I was like, I was like, Nathan, my dream's just to fight for a championship. That'd be great. And he's like, right, okay, well, I'll see what I can do. And then I ended up ended up being in the first ever match for our junior heavyweight title against John McCann, and we had an amazing match, a lot of fun that match. And first time we'd ever ran what do you call that? Malone Rugby Club was the first time we'd ever ran it, and we main evented. Second time actually, we'd main evented, and it was insane. And I lost that night, and I remember my family being like, I can't believe you lost and stuff. And I it was like so much butterflies, and even though it came out of his shoulder that I could barely move because I landed awkwardly on like a top rope back bump, but like my shoulder was all weird and I had to get someone to take off my shirt for me and stuff. But like the joy I felt being like, I just fought for a title in front of 150 odd people, which again, to some superstar wrestlers, that's nothing, but for me at the time, it's like I think I just turned 16. I was like, this is huge for me. Like, I can't believe this. And then, what do you know, it was about 8 months later, I'm fighting for the junior heavyweight title and I end up winning it. Literally, I won a tournament to get that title shot, and I was in the tournament final on that show whilst my own grandmother's wake was happening, and I was in that title tournament, and then I ended up the next month winning the championship in front of my other grandmother who'd never been to a show, and she came to one, and I won the title, and I'd never been emotional about wrestling, but I never will post photos of me holding that title. There's probably one, and I might have taken it down because I'm ugly crying in the ring with the title. And I'm like, this looks so bad. I'm like, my face is all like wrinkled and I'm like sobbing in the ring. So I'm like, I'm a champion. Like, I never expected this. But so to be honest, I never thought I'd ever be a champion, never mind a world champion. So it's still insane to me, to be completely honest.
So you spoke about how you ended up at NIPW. What's the best thing about NIPW?
Honestly, like there's so much to like try and tick off right now. So if I was to say, there's so many bests in NIPW that I can't say one best thing. However, probably my favorite thing about NIPW is with Nate Maddox. And this is really weird, I don't think I've ever really verbalized this to him. He's not just training wrestlers and he's not just training performers. He's training people for every aspect of the wrestling world. Like, and that's been the case with with John, for example. John right now recently picked up a coaching role at our place.
Yeah.
And it was actually just last night we were having a coaching session with John McCann, and I had to give it to him. It was an unbelievable class. He gassed me out, and he knew what he was doing, but he gassed me out. And it was all around a great session, but he's training John to be a coach, and he's been helping me start to develop into a coaching role. Like, he's been trying to teach me that. And he's taught a lot of our guys coaching habits, because one thing we'll always say is Nate Maddox, if I'm going to be completely honest, he's a decent wrestler, but he was never the best wrestler. However, I don't know how his brain took this in. He is an insanely talented coach. So he's really good at teaching everyone to be a coach.
Yeah.
And with me on the weekend there, he was sitting with me and he's like, I think he knows how much I've always been interested in promoting in wrestling. And he sat down with me and he's like, I know what matches I have, but how do you think I should structure them, mate? So he sat there, just me and him, going, where should I put this match? And I was like, you have to put it there. And he was like, why? And I was like, explain everything to him. And I later went up to him, and I don't really have like super wholesome moments. I'm not a super, like, I find it weird being verbally wholesome all the time, but I actually had to go up to him afterwards and be like, thank you very much. I've always dreamed to be a promoter. Although I didn't promote this show, letting me help you structure a card was really interesting. And I'm just saying the shows ended up being 2 hits on that weekend, so I take all the credit.
So what's the best bit of advice that you can give to someone who's interested in getting into wrestling or wants to train or become a wrestler?
So the best bit of advice I can give is, again, I am so far from knowing all the answers, it's insane. But from my perspective, as someone who's seen so many people in the last 5 years come in and start training for the first time, and I've seen so many new people, and because I'm more experienced, Nathan has usually me or John McCann or like Didi Crooks or someone like that in the ring with these new people. And the one big pet peeve that we all notice And it's so present between the people who will end up being so reliable, and we can always put on shows, we can always trust them, and the people who we struggle to end up finding places on shows for. And it's that you can't go into wrestling on your first training session and assume things. You can never assume.
Yeah.
Never ever assume. Never try to know the answers on your own. Never try to do things on your own. At least for the first until you start having shows of your own.
Yeah.
You can't rely on your own assumptions. And by that I mean, like, I'll see people come in, and we've had people on. Funny enough, they're not here anymore because they realized it wasn't for them. But like, we'll be talking to them. We'll be like, "Oh, sorry, find wrestling." Like, "Yeah, really good. So I have this gimmick in mind." And I'm like, "You started training 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, don't think about gimmicks. Don't think about this. Get the fundamentals down. Okay, what's next? Get the wrestling side of things down. All right, what's next? Now we can start talking about your charisma and how you're going to start to train yourself as a personality." But it's the same with acting classes. Like, if you went to an acting class or theatre, on your first time, you're not going to be like, "So I have this idea for a character for a play." They'll be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Like, we haven't given you anything. We haven't suggested anything. So you have to be genuine. I always tell people, and some people get it, and I can understand how it's very vague, but it's the best way I can verbalize it. It's just be a blank canvas and let everyone do their thing, like, and let Nathan, most importantly, if you're training with us, for example, or if you're a Titanic, like JDP and stuff, or Dark Horse and all those guys, if you're training somewhere, let the coach mold you at the start, and then you will know the right time to start molding yourself for the rest. But I was the same when I first started. I thought I had the answers in my first month, and it took me like a year of wrestling to stop and go, I'm not where I thought I was at all. Like, I really am. Like, for lack of a better term, I thought like I could do no wrong.
Yeah.
I thought I was the best, like, at everything deep down. As much as I would act all humble, deep down I was like, I'm amazing. And then it took like one day I stopped and I thought, and I was watching other people in training, and I was like, they can do that much better than me. I'm like, it's because they're just blank canvases. I'm like, I just need to chill and let people give me direction, and I'll take it. And from then, I grew the confidence, grew the ability where I was like, I can start molding myself now. And that's what I recommend. Just let someone mold you first, and you'll know when the time is right to mold yourself. That's what I see it.
That is some really deep advice there, but it makes a lot of sense, so it does. So, on the subject of advice, what's the best bit of advice that you've been given, and who gave it to you?
I've been given so much advice, funny enough, because as, again, someone who is not the perfect wrestler, and there's very few that are, but I believe there is, but I'm not the perfect wrestler at all, so I am getting flooded with advice on a daily basis. So to try and remember some of them, honestly, like, some of the advice that Nate Maddox gives is really, really, like, it just sits with me sometimes. I don't think he realizes it. Like, one thing it's not really advice, but I more take from people's stories on how to not make the mistakes and how to, like, handle myself. So, like, literally with Nate Maddox, like, he told a story about how he was training for so long and he always struggled to really feel like he knew what he was doing. Like, he didn't really feel like he knew what he was doing. And then it was one day he was like, I want to try training with Marty Jones in England. So he went to Marty Jones in England, and he went there and he's like, I feel like a proper wrestler now. And I feel like by that, he meant just kind of like, find the school for you,
Yeah.
find the place for you, find the people for you, and surround yourself with those people. And by that, you'll start realizing, because again, some people flourish in different places. Like, again, a cactus and a rose are both more than capable of growing to their full potential. But if you put a cactus in a forest, it's not going to grow, and you put a rose in a desert, that thing's not growing.
Yes.
So it needs the right environment for itself. Doesn't mean that one school's better than the other. Like, for example, there's one person to go to NIPW and one person to go to Titanic, for example, and they might not develop, but if they swap places, they'd both become amazing wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because maybe they just need a certain environment. So I feel like that's the best piece of advice I have. Just find the place that's right for you, and find the environments that work best for you, especially when you're working other people's shows. Go to those shows that work best with your abilities, you know? That's what I'd say.
You're blowing my mind here today. You really are. You're way beyond your years.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Miller Moon, the milk to drink when feeling blue. Miller
many matches do you reckon you've had?
Now you see, I write them down, but I always don't really write the number. But I think I'm in the 70s now.
Yeah.
And honestly, within 4 years of being on shows, like I should be more than happy. But with our guys, a lot of our guys, because of their age and being, they're like going into their 20s now. A lot of our guys are, mid-20s or sometimes they're pushing 30s. They're all wrestling every other weekend. So there's people who I'll be on shows with, and yeah, sure, they'll say to me, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're far more talented than me." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe, but you've worked 3 times the amount of matches as me." Like Stevie Faye, for example. I think if you counted that guy's matches, you're hitting triple digits, no problem, and you're probably hitting about 300. And
Yeah.
he's been wrestling since the start of 2024. That guy just wrestles every weekend. He's traveling every weekend, constantly working all these shows, and now he's a champion and stuff like so quickly because he's getting all these opportunities so quick. So yes, I'm happy enough, but story of my life, I'm not content enough, and I can't wait until next month here. I hit 18, and I'm going to be like, put me anywhere, please. Just I want to just wrestle
Well,
as much as possible,
I mean, this is the thing too. You are still only young. You're 18. You still go to school. You've
Yeah.
big year this year with A levels.
Yeah. Yep.
That was one of the things that sort of Jekyll felt was holding him back last year. Was are you going to training? No, I've to study. I've got my A levels. I've to study, and I always told him if he failed them, he was going back to reset them, and he was adamant he was not coming back. So he put the effort in, and then just after school finished, he had said to me, "All right, I want to start cracking on. I feel I should be further on than I am."
Yeah.
And he hyperextended his knee one night doing stumps in the corner, and I could just see the panic on his face. He thought he dislocated his knee, and I was like, "Is my knee out? Is my knee out?" I was like, "No, your knee's not out. Just
Yeah.
take a breath, calm down." So that knocked him off for a couple of weeks, and then he's hurt his shoulder now too. So that's knocked him out for another few weeks, and I can see the frustration in his face.
I've always said, and for young wrestling, and again, I feel like that's something I'm a little bit of an expert on, is being a young wrestler, because I have been a young wrestler now since I was just turned 14, and I'm about to turn 18. So most of my teenage years, I have been a wrestler, and I understand how it feels to be the youngest wrestler in the room always. And one thing, there's always obviously respect issues and stuff, and it's hard to earn respect. But one thing I notice is when you're seeing other people get a lot of opportunities and you're having to stagnate because you don't have the freedom, because you still need to like focus on things like school, because you can never fully rely on wrestling. That's something that I live by. Like I know I can't fully rely on wrestling. I know only a select few really make it in wrestling.
Thank you.
So with that in mind, I know, right, I need to relax sometimes, but deep down, I'm like, I don't like being stagnant. I don't like not moving at the speed I want to be moving in. And so yeah, because of that, I'll beat myself up too. So I get where Jack's coming from. Like,
I would say I say we spoke earlier about me being a different vintage.
yeah.
I hate missing sessions because I feel like I'm going in reverse now.
Exactly. Yep.
And I went to training last night, and I was training with a young lady called Nyla Grace, who wrestles for TNA, and we were doing a spot, and got her in a headlock, and I was like, TNA sucks, TNA rocks. And the whole spot just went completely out of my head, and I was like, I'm lost. And she was like, corner, and I was like, and then everything came back again. Like,
right.
Too busy gloating,
Oh, you got two into it. That's the same with me now, because as I'm trying to get more into the heel side of things now in wrestling, I'll be working in training, and actually last night with John McCann's training session, he was doing a wild thing he was working with was calling stuff on the fly. I'm going to work on the fly, which I believe that everyone needs to get used to. And I'm not perfect at it yet either, so I'm still trying to get used to it. And John was doing it as he was the ref, and he was going to tell us the spots like TV style. So, and I was I had this new guy in a chin lock, and I was working it, and I started, and everyone was quiet, because obviously in training sometimes people are awkward to get into it, and I really want people to be up.
Yes.
That's another bit of advice Trionics give me. Again, Trionics, former NWA, like a Canadian world champion and stuff. Like, he wrestled everywhere. It was a really good place in Canada called Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling. He's a great wrestler, and has worked with NXT and stuff before. And I remember a bit of feedback he gave me was the Performance Center in WWE. They really appreciate people who are ring generals, and by that he means be encouraging, be trying to get the place up, be trying to get good energy. Because you'll notice if you go to a training session, everyone's so hyped up the whole time because you're all getting in the zone. It's the best training session of your life almost every time.
Yep.
So I tried to do that. So I have this kind of chin lock, and I'm like, oh, you bunch of rats. I'm what a real champion looks like. This guy is sleeping, and I'm shouting at them, and I'm screaming. And then John calls something, and I go, yeah, no problem, ref. And I go, this. And they all start getting into him, like, fall perfect, makes their feet. I'm like, oh, what was I going to do? So I go, John, what's next? John, what am I doing? We don't want him doing. John goes, take it back to the back. All right, perfect. So yeah, you do get too much in the zone, but
So
makes sense.
you'd say about Stevie Fee wrestling every weekend. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you recently went to North America, Canada, and wrestled.
Yes, yeah. Second time, it was an amazing experience.
Yeah. So what was that like?
Honestly, so I was there last year for a different promotion called C4 Wrestling, and when I went for C4, I never understood the idea of like wrestling so different once you leave Europe, and like people are like Japan and North America do it so differently. And I was like, I don't really think it would be that different. You know, wrestling's worldwide language, you know, in a way. And
Unless you're in Mexico.
unless you're in Mexico, then you're working the opposite side.
Yep.
But I go to Canada and I'm watching these people, and I'm like, they do it so differently than us. It was like almost every wrestler I saw was a 5-star talent, and I'm like, what is this? I was mind blown. But when I went to Drew Onyx's place, Torture Chamber, it was the same thing. Everyone was so amazing. But when I tell you that Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling has the best locker room I've ever been a part of, and I'd only met 2 of those people before, and it was Drew himself and a guy called Paulo Triasio I'd wrestled. I'd never met any of them. And when I mean I was there and I'd never felt more at home, I was talking to everyone. I was getting to know all the new trainees, and they were coming to me and starting conversations and stuff. Everyone was talking. It was such like a really good like environment to be a part of. And how they handle stuff, like Drew Onyx really likes to run things TV style. That's a big thing he likes to drill. And one of his biggest things is working the hard cam. So he does a big meeting before the show, and he does this, and he's like, we've got these people from the States, and everyone's like, well, off the clap and stuff. And then he's like, we got I was going back Canary, and then he's like, we got Canary all the way from Ireland, give him a clap. And he's like, because he's such great energy and a good vibe about him. But and he was like, he gives his talk, and he's like, the hard cam's there. Everybody has to work the hard cam. You make your entrance. I want you to stop right here in the ramp. Like, he has a place where he's like, you must stop here so we can get your name out.
Yeah.
He's like, the referee, we have a timekeeper, we have agents for your matches. They'll be coming to each of you to see what you're doing, make sure no one's overlapping. He's like, all this here. And I was like, oh, this is like really professional. And I get out there and I'm working my match, and the referee calls us. He's like, he got given like, I think it was like 12 minutes to me and this guy, Paulo. It was our second match. But when me and Paulo work each other, we get really into it. So we planned a really long match. And deep down, I'm like, I feel like we've overplanned. And he's like, I know, I don't think so. And I'm like, right, okay. So we get out there, we're working this match, and Paulo's a great guy. We're having fun. And all I hear is, got 6 minutes. And I stop and go, the heat just started. I was like, oh no. So we start like trying to get through this match without trying to like rush through it too much. So we're getting through it, and actually getting to the point where we're meant to do part of the match where I was meant to be out for a 9 count and slide back in. And I was on the outside, and you can't catch it, but I'm literally looking up the ref, going like mouthing to him like, count faster, count faster. I need to get in there, count. And I'm sliding in, and then we're calling on the fly. We're like, leave this spot, just go to this one. And I'm like, right, okay. And I'm like, Paulo, forget this one, we're going to this one. He's like, okay. And we got through the match, and Drew Onyx said himself, and I was so honored to hear this from someone like Drew Onyx. He was like, you got popped the night. Because when I came out there, I was meant to be the babyface, and I wanted us to do 1, 2, 3 Kid Razor Ramon, because he's a double champion over there.
Yes.
He's like, I'm not defending my title here in this disgusting town, because it's the first time ever doing a show there. And I got like a quick, like small package pen and rolled out, and I was celebrating. But the crowd the whole time were heckling me because I wasn't from Canada and he was. So I was getting all this, does your parents know you're here? And do you not have school tomorrow and stuff? And I'm like, I'm getting hit. I'm like, what do I do? And nothing I would do would get them to cheer. But when I won, I'd never experienced a pop like that for myself. The face blew off, and I was like, oh my God. And I got backstage, and he was like, that was amazing. Shakes my hand. You were great. Like, Paulo, you were great. That was a really good match. And I'm like, yeah, we had to cut like 10 minutes of it. And they're like, really? I was like, yeah. Like, oh, we couldn't tell. So I was like, oh, thank God. But yeah, brilliant. The way they do things, it's very different, very professional.
One of the things that JDP likes to do during his training sessions is he go around the room, he go, you 2 are working a match, you 4 are in a tag team match, you 3 are in a triple threat. I'll give you 5 minutes to plan your match.
Yeah.
And then when the 5 minutes is up, he'll come and take me away from the tag team match and put me into the singles match and
Oh,
put someone and goes, you just need to call it in the ring now.
that's
I'd
so
be like,
funny.
what?
That's so funny. And I agree with that because there is stuff you have to do on the fly.
Yeah.
Like, there's
And I would say too, like you just had a 5 minute match, you're now up to 6 minutes, or you
yeah,
just had a 6 minute match, you're now down to 3 minutes. You know, and
exactly. And there's, I remember a similar story. I'm not going to name the wrestler in question out of respect for them because I wanted to make it seem like I'm saying they don't know what they're doing. But I do think they're a really good wrestler, but I won't name them. But they were at one of our shows and they're not from NIPW, and they were working a match.
Rocky Star, isn't it?
Oh, of course it was. No, I'm only joking. Rocky's amazing. I love working with him. But it was this guy. He wasn't from us, like, and he came to our show and he was working our show, and he was meant to be the babyface. He's sitting at the curtain, he's ready, and Nate Maddox turns to him and goes, "By the way, you're meant to be babyface, and this guy's meant to be heel. The thing about this guy, the crowd still cheer him sometimes. It's like, so you might have to switch this match and go heel." And when I see this guy's face dropped out of fear of, but we have a match plan, Nathan's like, "Yeah, but they might not like you." He's like, oh no, and he was terrified. The match ended up being great, but this guy was terrified, and stuff like that made me go, I have to be ready to change up all the time with wrestling.
So I've heard a rumor
Oh no,
that you're a big collector of wrestling figures.
I was at one point. I haven't bought a wrestling figure in about almost 2 years now, but I still have a giant box of them,
Yeah.
and I still find them really cool. And John McCann, I'm assuming, is the one who snitched.
Well, well, I remember hearing John on another podcast talking about you two being out
yeah.
in a toy store together looking for figures.
Oh, for a promo. That was a promo we did one
Oh,
time.
right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew it would be John who let it slip. John's a massive wrestling figure fan, by the way, just to quickly run this down. Huge wrestling figure fan, still collects them. And I tell him, he loves to carry like one or two in his bag just to fidget with. And if me and him like share rides to training, so anytime I'm in the car, I'm like, what's this one? And I start fidgeting away with it. I don't buy them anymore, but I find them so cool to like fidget with. But at the time of this promo, I was about 14 at the time still, and me and John were going to start doing our tag stuff as next level, and both of us were not ready for tag stuff. The matches weren't bad, but we just weren't ready. But Nathan was like, I have an idea for a promo. Do it in Smiths and make it so you're sitting there with action figures and do your promo based on action figures, where you encounter John at Smiths and ask him to be your tag partner. I'm like, right, so we did that, and then Nathan kept running with the idea that we liked wrestling figures as a gimmick almost. So our next one was like me playing with action figures, being like, John, I'm planning our match. I have tactics. I know what I'm doing. And John's like, why are you playing with dolls for? Even though John likes figures more than me, but for the promo, he had to go, why are you playing with dolls? And I had to go, they're not dolls. But yes, I used to be very much in the wrestling figures. Like,
so you've talked about coaches and Nate Maddox putting that coaching mentality into you guys.
Oh yeah.
I've also seen online that you help out with a few of the kids' classes.
Yes, yeah, every Monday before training.
So
yeah.
For you, what do you get out of that?
So for me, youth work in general is always, I say always, I'd be lying actually. I only really understood how much I loved youth work when I started doing the wrestling training with kids, and I was like, I love helping young people do this. Like, this is really fun working with them. And for my work experience, I went to Holy Child, like the primary school, and I worked there, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I love working with young people. So doing that is really good, on a personal basis, etc. So I just really enjoy this experience of working with young people. But on the wrestling side of things, it's so cool to try and help people break through and achieve their dreams in any sort of way. Because we've had some of these kids on shows now, and I've seen some of them, like Keaton, he's a YouTuber in his own right and stuff. And
you've beat up one or two of them.
I have beat
some of them deserve it.
They all deserve it, I think. But if it beat them up, they deserved it.
Yeah.
But like Keaton, for example, I remember his first sessions, and he would tell you himself, like, he was so nervous and he couldn't even do a forward roll, like, struggled so much. And the next thing you know, he ended up being my first title defense with my world title on a show, and the kid held up, So it's stuff like that, and being able to give them advice and be able to try different methods, because different methods work for each kid.
Yeah.
And because again, similar to teaching, you can't not everything works for the same person. It's not always saying about different environments work for certain people.
100%.
But for me personally, I feel like there's always one way of fixing that, and that's just being so flexible and being able to work and teach everyone. And that's what I want to do. So when I'm working with kids, there's some kids that I'm able to just go, do this, and they'll do it, and then there's other kids that have to like demonstrate, and they'll know it, or other kids that have to literally treat them as if they're a puppet and maneuver their body around me, and then they can do it after that because they've just done it.
Yes.
So that I really enjoyed that side of things, but in all together, just coaching anyone, like Nathan's had me coach the adult class before as well, which is really funny. Me being the youngest person around, I'm like, guys, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
But like stuff like that, I just really enjoy helping teach people. I've always enjoyed it so much. Just it's an all around just amazing experience, to be completely honest.
We were talking about wrestling figures there, and I don't know if you've seen or not. And I spoke to you earlier in the way here that I've recently moved house.
Yes.
And when we were clearing out the attic, I came across these two huge big containers filled with wrestlers.
Wow.
And when I took them down, Jack was like, "Oh yeah!" And he hate me for saying this, but he stood for about an hour going through them all.
Oh, nostalgia.
Yeah, and I started posting them on instead of guest to guest. I'm doing guest Jack's wrestlers.
I've seen that on Facebook.
There was one wee guy I mentioned there. He keeps getting them right. And I'm going to get him one day.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one. I thought I had a good one today that he wouldn't have got, but
he got it.
He got it.
Get. It's probably John.
Yeah. So I guess that you have probably wrestled almost everyone in the NIPW locker room.
Almost.
Who has been your favourite to wrestle?
Now, this one has so many layers to it. So, for me personally, I think the person who I get the best out of them, they get the best out of me, and we work really easy with each other. It's actually Ben Nelson.
Yep.
And Ben Nelson, who spent most of his career being a tag team wrestler, I was like his first proper singles feud, and I could be corrected, but as far as I'm aware, I'm his first proper singles feud. And the thing with me and Ben Nelson is that we're really close friends outside of wrestling in general. And so when we're in the ring, we kind of have like a mutual agreement that we'll just hit each other. So we're in there, and like I think he respected the concussion in our last match because, well, I say he did it, I did it. He was throwing up boots, and I was like having my hands down and like headbutting his boot basically to make it look good. And so I feel like I can come after a Ben Nelson match, and I'm like, that was intense. Like we just attacked each other for a while and had fun. And then John McCann's also a big thing because he was my first title match. Probably my best friend outside of wrestling. Me and him have so many memories together with wrestling. We've been everywhere together. So when me and John wrestle, we almost get like a butterfly feeling of, oh my god, it's me and you again. Like this is so fun because we've done it like 10 times now. We've wrestled, and so John's unbelievable to wrestle. John, I think what I said there about me and Ben get the best out of each other. I don't know if I get the best out of John, but he gets the best out of me.
Yeah.
Easy, because he gets so much intensity in my matches. Because John's so intense to be in the ring with, and I still remember. I'll not tell his story. That's his story to tell. But I still remember the stories of him struggling to get his intensity in, and when he eventually got it, it all snapped. And now he's one of our most intense people, if not our most intense wrestler. So when I'm in the ring with him and he's like, throwing clotheslines and stuff, I then start going, all right, I need to match John's energy or else he'll look better than me. So I have to start matching it, and then we level out almost. And then I also have to give an honourable mention to DD Crooks because when I'm in the ring with him, he really tests me with how complex his ideas are. And I have to keep up with them because he's insanely fast and insanely gifted in the ring that he can do all this stuff that I didn't know anyone could do. So DD Crooks gets a big mention as well. He's unbelievable. He really brings the best out of me.
Cool. So if Nate Maddox came to you tomorrow and said, you've been a great servant of NIPW, I got Marty Jones to give you a certificate. Hope you like it. But we want to reward you and bring someone in for you to wrestle. But we want you to pick that person.
Oh my. Phew.
And you can pick anybody, past, present, or future.
Past, present, or future? Oh. Now that's hard.
And Nate's paying, so money is no object.
That's not an object. As a family, I'll feel bad. But no, if we're... Nah. As I said, my favourite wrestler of all time is CM Punk.
Yep.
But I don't think he'd be the one I'm like, I want to wrestle him. I would want a match that I feel like I would have it and I'd be like, I know so much more now. So off the top of my head, and I could sleep on this night and go, why did I say that? It's not how I really feel. But off the top of my head, right now, I would probably say someone like Randy Orton. Because
man is an absolute beast.
It's amazing. And he had a match on NXT, I think it was at the start of this year, with Javon Evans on NXT,
Yes.
who's, funny enough, he's a slim guy, despite the smallest guy they have, but insanely talented. Really small guy, and they got an amazing match out of each other. And that shows me Randy Orton can work with really smaller people.
Yep.
And not just that, but it's not like going in the match with like Gunther or something where I'm like, I'm gonna get chopped or I'm gonna be dead after this match. No, Randy Orton, I feel like I come out of him like I don't even know I just wrestled. So
yeah.
I feel like I'd learned so much from him. So Randy Orton by a country mile, 100%.
Cool. So when it comes to show days, have you any superstitions or rituals that you like to do?
Yes. So funny enough, when I say I'm religious in any sort of way, you would never see me in mass. And obviously, I have my own religious beliefs that, I don't think anyone else shares. I have my own way of comprehending religion, but I'm no like obsessed with the Bible kind of religious person. However, before a match, I do like to, because I have a necklace that belongs to my grandmother that no one else was willing to take, and I said, I'll take it. It was after she passed, and it actually has the face of my uncle who also passed away like 12, 15 years ago. So I like to hold on to that, and just because, again, showing how little religious knowledge I have, I only know 2 prayers. So I'll just say Our Father and Hail Mary on repeat for a while until I feel content enough. So I like to do that right before the match. But and I also like, again, less sentimental, but I also really like to have a sub sandwich out of the deli near our place. But I like to do those 2 things.
Yeah.
But then I also make it my mission never to be one of the people who sit there really nervous, constantly thinking about their match. Because first off, I have a decent enough memory, so it doesn't affect me much. But I also like to be, and Nathan always credited me for it, and he said it's good for, morale. I don't like to be the one sitting in the corner like, I can't remember this match. I like to just be up and walking around going over to people. What's your match? Oh, call me your match to help you remember it. Or, I'll call you my match now, and we'll just walk around. I like to be part of the atmosphere and part of the crack and have fun with everyone. I don't like to be the one who sits all quiet and stuff. So, like, that's like, for me anyway, that's like my pre-match, like what I like to do. And again, it might not help me at all when I go out there. And it's not like if I don't do it, everything's falling apart. Like, it's not super strict, but that's what I like to do just to keep myself right sometimes,
It's almost like you're the heart and soul of NIPW already.
I may not go by the moniker, but deep down everyone knows I'm still the heart and soul of NIPW.
So we've talked about a few seminars.
Yes.
What seminar has been your favourite one to attend, and why?
I remember for years this was so hard to answer. I was like, oh, they're so great. But now I had one this year that smashed them all out of the water. Drew Onyx, his seminar. I genuinely believe, and Nate Maddox admits it too because he's trained under him a few times, Drew Onyx is the greatest wrestling coach on the planet. And there's many people like Finn Balor and Kevin Owens who would also say the same thing. That guy's knowledge is scary. Like, and also the off topic, but the people that he knows, and he loves to flex it to have a joke. Like he showed me Finn Balor's number on his phone.
Yeah.
And apparently in his living room, hidden Finn Balor's with a picture of them because they're like best friends. And then Kevin Owens and stuff, he has photos of him and Kevin Owens holding Kevin Owens' Universal title when he first won it.
Wow.
Because they're really close friends. And Kevin Owens actually went to train with Drew Onyx before his tryout to get ready. And ended up going as a like trainer at the performance center. But the intensity, the like good vibes, and it genuinely was like there was no mistakes. It was as Bob Moss used to say, it was happy accidents,
Yeah.
Bob Ross, sorry. It was happy accidents, and like everything he did wrong, he would be like stern away, like, no, you do it like this, man, you do it like this, and this. And then so I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I go, don't apologize, man, you're learning. This is what this is for. He's so intense, and he's like shouting. And then like, we had a show the next day that he was on, and I remember him, Nathan being like, here, we'll get your own private locker room. He's like, I don't want a private locker room, I'm with the boys. I love these people. He'd never met us before. It was just such a vibrant and like such a good energy to be around. And when I mean that, like that guy, in the short time I had that seminar, the like couple hours that it was meant to be I think it was meant to be 2 hours, and he ended up on like 3.5 to 4. Because he's like, does anyone have somewhere to be? We're all like, no. And he goes, we'll keep going. And Nathan's like, oh, well, they paid for this. I don't care how much they paid. I don't care. The money's going to me. I don't care. Like, he was so excited for this seminar. and he just wanted to teach people because his passion, and he's so intense, and no one, I don't think, ever could have something bad to say about the guy. So Drew
Awesome.
Onyx back country mad.
Cool. So this is my favorite part of the show,
Oh,
and it's called Franco's Heat Seat.
okay.
And it's designed to get you a little bit of hate from friends and family. And again, anything that makes you look bad makes me look good. So I'm all for that.
I completely agree. Yeah.
So first question is, when's your mum's birthday?
The 24th of December, 1976.
Have you ever talked your little brother into getting something that you wanted?
Talked him into getting something I wanted?
Yes.
Absolutely not, because we don't like anything the same.
Really?
And anything that he would have wanted, he would never have even let me go near it. Never. So no.
Did you make your bed this morning?
I did make my bed this morning, because I was staying in my grandmother's house while she was on holiday, and I was looking after her house, and that, like, this morning was my last morning there, so I wanted the house to look nice for her, so I did indeed make my bed.
Do you ever wear odd socks?
Absolutely not. It's a massive pet peeve. I absolutely hate it.
You're in good company today. Have you ever borrowed money out of your mum's purse without telling her?
Worst, I borrowed it out of savings. It was when I was younger, and it was actually when me and my friends would want to go out, and would sometimes sneak to Smith's, and I wasn't allowed to go there, but I'd want to buy wrestling figures, and I'd have money. I'd be like, the wrestling figures would be like a tenner, and I was like, I've got £5. I was like, I'll grab another £5 out of the savings, because I knew where their savings were, and it was in a jar that I actually got them. Well, I didn't get them. They got a jar for me, and then they took it and made it their own savings. So I was like, oh, I'll take it. It's my jar anyway. So, yes, I did once, or twice, or a couple of times.
Have you ever skipped school?
Absolutely not. I'm too good of a kid. No, absolutely not. I'm too scared.
Have you ever broken anything and blamed the sibling for it?
Broken anything? It's a good question. No, I actually don't remember ever breaking anything around my house. I broke one thing in my granny's house. I broke a picture of my uncle, the one who passed away. But I was the only one in the living room, so there was no one else to blame. So I was stuck to take the blame for that one. But no, I don't think so. There's a big age difference between me and a lot of my siblings. I'm in an awkward place where my older brother and my older sister are like 3 years apart. Then 8 years after my brother, there's me. And then 8 years after me, there's my wee brother. So there's no one similar in age as well who could have been in the same zone as me. So no, I never got the chance to.
So you're not quite 18 yet?
Nope, not yet.
Have you ever tasted alcohol?
I have many times. I'm not a big alcohol drinker, but this summer, for example, it was a close family. It was a member of the family's birthday, and we were over in Canada, and we all went up to the cottage. Well, I say we all. It was me, my cousin, and her fiance, whose birthday it was.
Yep.
And I did indeed. I lost count, but apparently I had 10 Coors and a Heineken, and I was absolutely plastered. And then I've had a few drinks at wrestling shows, but that's the only time I've ever been plastered.
Can you spell a 4-letter word beginning with the letter T?
Beginning with the letter T?
Yes.
TRE.
So who's the most annoying person in NIPW?
Oh, without a doubt, John McCann. I love the guy so much. We're such close friends, and this isn't just me taking a little shot at him. The guy is an absolute melt. John McCann, no problem.
In all your dealings with Titanic Wrestling,
I've had a
who
few.
has been the most annoying person
Blake
there?
Richards. Blake Richards. The guy, I can't stand the guy. Blake Richards. 100%.
Who's your best friend in NIPW? I think we've probably already covered this.
John McCann or Ben Nelson.
Cocoa Pops or Sugar Puffs?
Cocoa Pops, don't know what Sugar Puffs are.
You don't know what Sugar Puffs are?
No, I've never heard of them.
You don't know who the Honey Monster is?
I didn't know Honey Monsters, all that is?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, no. Cocoa Pops.
Coca-Cola or Coke Zero?
Neither. I don't like cola.
No.
I like it, but I just have the idea that it stains my teeth, and I'm really conscious of having bad teeth. So.
Well, what do you like? Fizzy drinks? No
fizzy drinks? Look at it.
Lucas,
I don't have any. Look at it.
Your mum's letting you have a sleepover.
Yep.
And you can choose any 4 guests that you want. Who are you invite?
I'll invite. John would do my head in. I'll invite Ben. I'll invite. I don't have enough friends, to be honest. I'll invite Ben. I'll invite Dee Dee Crooks. I'll invite Sage Valentine. And I'll invite Malice.
Okay.
That's who I'll invite. It's a good squad, I think.
Name a wrestling moves that you can't do.
Wrestling moves that I can't do, a moonsault. Never asked me to do a moonsault ever in a million years. Never.
Who's the better cowboy, Brandon Jenkins or Jack Ritter?
Jack Ritter by a countryman. I've never heard of Brandon Jenkins before in my life.
What's your biggest fear?
In a deeper note, death. In a more light-hearted note, keep all spiders away from me, please. Thank you.
What's the one dinner that your mum makes you that you don't like?
Oh, one dinner she makes me and I don't like it. I like a lot of my mum's cooking, to be fair. But ever saying all the time, and honestly, anything that involves her making home-cooked sausages, because her sausages are terrible. I love my mum, but her sausages are terrible. They're brutal. So anything that involves sausages.
Who's your favourite female superhero?
Favorite female superhero? That's hard. Some of them are really cool. Honestly, I know she's more of a villain, but Catwoman's really cool.
Favourite Disney character?
Favorite Disney character? Either Moana or Rapunzel. Love the Disney princesses, to be honest.
What's your favourite takeout?
All around probably Chinese. I love a good curry from a Chinese, to be honest. Yeah.
You're going to McDonald's. Do you get a Happy Meal or a Big Mac meal?
I wouldn't be getting either, but if I had to choose one, I'm a fussed eater, so I'm getting Happy Meal. Wouldn't eat the Big Mac.
What are you getting in your Happy Meal? Chicken
nuggets? It would depend on the mood I'm in, like, but I'd probably just get a cheeseburger with just cheese because I can't have anything else.
So that's the end of the heat sheet.
Oh, that's intense.
I just want to ask now before we finish, what's next for the Globetrotter?
Well, what's next for the Globetrotter is the Globetrotter's going to trot his way all the way to Bangor at the end of this month for the Grand Social, and whether Stevie Crooks or whoever wants to step in the ring with me, they're getting whooped, and I'm walking out with still a championship around my waist because I'm Mr. Worldwide. That's the thing. So, God forbid anyone wants to step in the ring with me because they will be tied in knots and made to look an absolute fool, like the rest of the rats who stepped in the ring before them.
Ricky, I just want to say thank you so much for coming along today. It has been a real eye-opener for me.
Glad to hear it.
It has been great getting to know you. I remember the first time we met, you had asked me, did Jack go to the same school as you?
Yeah.
Because you thought you had seen Jack. And then you said, I wasn't sure if it was you or not, but I used to see a guy sitting outside the school either reading or sleeping.
Yep.
And that was me. Listen, Ricky, I have really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. I think you have a very bright future.
Thank you very much,
You are
man.
very wise beyond your years, and I just want to wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, man. Thanks for having me on.
It has been my pleasure, honestly. For all the listeners, please stay tuned to our socials, because once again, we will drop a guest to guest. Keaton, I think you're still barred, by the way, just if you're listening. Guys, once again, please take care of each other. Thanks for listening, and we will see you all next week. Step through the wrestling tale. Franco's got the stories that never go stale. With the champs, the underdogs, the dreamers too. He's walking and talking just for you. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples and glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples and glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Oh, gold. Walking with Franco, legends alive. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, wrestling hearts in a ring of gold.
Walking with Franco, legends align. Every step's a suplex in time. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the stars. Franco's footsteps are chasing stars. From the streets of Rome to the locker room door, every walk's a match you can't ignore. Grapples in glory, the highs and the scars. Franco's footsteps are chasing the stars. He's got the moves and the posture charm, a gladiator's heart with a wrestler's arm. Through the ropes of life, the stories climb. Franco's walking and it's prime time. Walking with Franco, stories unfold. Wrestling hearts in a ring of gold. Walking with Franco, legends align. Every step's a suplex in time.